My wife's secret lover, sent me an invitation to their wedding. The ivory envelope arrived on a Tuesday morning, nestled between a credit card offer and my electric bill. I almost threw it away, another wedding invitation from some distant cousin or college friend I'd lost touch with years ago. But something about the weight of the paper, the elegant calligraphy spelling out my name made me pause. Mr. Marcus Chen, 1247 Rosewood Drive, San Francisco, CA 9417. No return address. Curious. I sliced open the envelope with my letter opener, the one Sarah had given me for our 5th anniversary. Every successful businessman needs proper tools, she'd said, kissing my cheek. That was back when she still kissed me without being asked. The invitation slipped out thick and expensive, the kind that costs more than most people spend on groceries for a week. Gold embossing caught the morning light streaming through our kitchen window, and together with their families, Sarah Chen and Alexander Hartley, request the pleasure of your company at their wedding ceremony. The coffee mug slipped from my hand, shattering on the marble floor in a spectacular explosion of ceramic and dark roast. The hot liquid splashed across my bare feet, but I barely felt it. I read the names again and again. Sarah Chen, my wife of 12 years. My hands shook as I checked the date on the invitation. 3 months from now. August 15th. Our 13th anniversary was August 20th. Honey, what was that crash? Sarah's voice drifted down from upstairs, casual and unconcerned. The same voice that had whispered, "I love you," just last night, before she turned away from me in bed, claiming exhaustion from another late night at the office. Nothing. I called back, my voice surprisingly steady. Just dropped a mug. You're so clumsy lately, she laughed. That tinkling laugh I'd fallen in love with at a mutual friend's barbecue all those years ago. Now it sounded different, practiced, hollow. I bent down careful to avoid the ceramic shards and picked up the invitation. There was more. A small card had fluttered under the kitchen table. Dear Marcus, I thought you deserved to know the truth. After all, you've been living a lie for the past 3 years. Consider this your wake-up call. The choice of what to do next is yours. A friend. 3 years. I sank into a kitchen chair, my mind racing backward through time. 3 years ago, Sarah had gotten that promotion. 3 years ago, she'd started working late, traveling more for business. 3 years ago, she'd joined that expensive gym downtown because it was more convenient to the office. 3 years ago, she'd stopped looking at me the way she used to. The sound of her footsteps on the stairs jolted me into action. I shoved the invitation back into its envelope and slipped it into my briefcase just as she entered the kitchen. Oh, Mark, look at this mess. She sighed, already reaching for the paper towels. She was dressed for work, a sleek black dress that hugged her still perfect figure, her dark hair pulled back in an elegant chignon. When had she started dressing so carefully for the office? I'll clean it up, I said, watching her. Really watching her for the first time in months. The way she avoided my eyes, the slight flush on her cheeks that I'd attributed to her morning run, the new diamond earrings I didn't remember buying her. Don't be silly, I've got it. She knelt down, efficiently sweeping up the broken pieces. Her wedding ring caught the light, the modest solitaire I'd saved for months to afford when we were young and broke and madly in love. You should get dressed. Don't you have that big presentation today? The presentation. Richardson Industries. The contract that could make or break my small consulting firm. 24 hours ago, it had been the most important thing in my world. Right, I said, at the presentation. She stood dumping the ceramic shards into the trash. You okay? You look pale. I'm fine. She studied me for a moment, and I saw something flicker across her face. Guilt concern. Or was she wondering if I knew? Okay. She grabbed her coffee in a travel mug. I noticed not one of our regular mugs. When had she stopped drinking coffee with me in the morning? I've got to run, early meeting with... She paused for just a fraction of a second. The team. Alexander Hartley. I wondered what he looked like. Was he younger? More successful? Did he make her laugh the way I used to? Sarah, I called as she headed for the door. She turned, purse and hand keys jingling. Yeah! 1,000 questions crowded my throat. Who is he? When did it start? Did you ever love me? Do you love him? Why didn't you just leave? Instead, I said, have a good day. She smiled, that practiced smile she'd perfected over the years. You too. Good luck with Richardson. The door closed behind her with a soft click. I heard her car start in the driveway, the engine purring to life. Alexis. I'd bought it for her last Christmas, even though we couldn't really afford it. She'd been dropping hints for months. Had Alexander Hartley been in that car? Had she driven to his place in the car I'd bought her? I pulled out the invitation again, studying every detail. The venue was the St. Regis Hotel. We'd talked about having our reception there, but couldn't afford it. The save the date was already past how many people had known before me, how many of our friends had received their invitations already. Were they all laughing behind my back? My phone buzzed. A text from Sarah forgot to mention book club tonight. Don't wait up. Love you. Book club, right? I called my office. Stella, it's Marcus. I need you to reschedule Richardson. What, Marcus? No, this is huge for us. Reschedule it? I repeated. Something's come up. I hung up before she could protest further. Then I did something I'd never done in 12 years of marriage. I called a private investigator. Discreet investigations. How can I help you? I need to hire someone, I heard myself say. I think my wife is having an affair. I'm sorry to hear that, sir. We can certainly help. When would you like to come in? Now, I said. I need to come in now. I went upstairs to our bedroom. Strange how I still thought of it as ours. And got dressed. My hands were steady now, my mind crystal clear. In our walk-in closet, Sarah's section was meticulously organized. Designer dresses I didn't remember buying, lingerie with the tags still on, a gym bag from a place called Elite Fitness. I'd thought she went to 24-hour fitness. On her nightstand next to her reading glasses and hand cream, her phone charger was empty. She'd taken her phone, of course, but her iPad was there, face down. I shouldn't. It was a violation of privacy of trust. But then again, planning a wedding while still married to someone else was a fairly significant violation, too. I picked up the iPad. Her password had always been our anniversary date. I typed it in 0820, invalid. I tried her birthday, invalid. On a hunch, I tried 0815. The screen unlocked. Her email was open. The most recent message was from AH. The subject line, can't wait for tonight. My darling Sarah, no 8 more weeks and you'll finally be mine officially. Though you know you've been mine from the moment we met. Wear the red dress tonight. You know what it does to me. Not all, my love, Alex. P.S. Did you tell him about Denver yet? Denver. She'd gone to Denver last month for a conference. Said it was boring, all PowerPoints and networking dinners. I scrolled down. Email after email from AH. Plans for their future. Their honeymoon in Bali, she'd always said she hated beach vacations. Photos of houses they were looking at together in Marin. She'd wanted to move to Marin for years. But I loved our place in the city. One email contained a single photo. Him, Alexander Hartley, tall fit silver at his temples. The kind of man who looked like he'd never worried about money a day in his life. In the photo, he had his arm around my wife. At some rooftop bar, the Golden Gate Bridge glowing in the background. She was wearing the red dress. She looked happy. Genuinely, radiantly happy. The way she used to look at me. I set the iPad down carefully exactly as I'd found it. Then I went to my home office and pulled out a legal pad. At the top, I wrote, "That's what I know." 1. My wife is having an affair. 2. It's been going on for 3 years. 3. She's planning to marry him. 4. She hasn't asked me for a divorce. 5. Someone wants me to know. That last point nagged at me. Who was a friend? Why send me the invitation? Why now? My phone rang. Sarah's ringtone at last by Etta James, our wedding song. Hey, I answered. Just wanted to check on you. You seemed off this morning. Did you eat breakfast? The concern in her voice seemed real. But then again, I'd thought a lot of things were real. I'm fine, I said. Just nervous about Richardson. You'll do great, you always do. A pause. Mark? Yeah, I love you. The words hung between us 3 syllables that had once meant everything. I love you too, I said, because what else could I say? After she hung up, I sat in the silence of my office, surrounded by the life we'd built together. Our wedding photo on the bookshelf. The award I'd won last year for Small Business Excellence Sarah had been so proud, had thrown me a surprise party. The tickets to Hawaii I'd bought for our anniversary hidden in my desk drawer. 3 months, their wedding was in 3 months, which meant I had 3 months to decide what to do with this information. 3 months to figure out who had sent me that invitation and why. 3 months to either save my marriage or end it on my terms. 3 months to discover if anything about the last 12 years had been real. I opened my laptop and began to type. Nashim 1, everything I thought I knew is a lie. The investigation started now. Chapter 2, The Investigator. Thomas Brennan's office was nothing like what I'd expected from a private investigator. No dingy downtown location with a flickering neon sign, no overflowing ashtrays or half-empty whiskey bottles. Instead, it occupied the 15th floor of a gleaming financial district, high-rise all clean lines and modern furniture. Mr. Chen. Brennan stood as his assistant showed me in. He was younger than I had expected, maybe early 40s, with the build of someone who'd played college football and never quite let it go. Please have a seat. I sat across from his imposing mahogany desk, trying not to fidget with my wedding ring, a nervous habit I'd developed sometime in the last 2 hours. You mentioned on the phone you suspect your wife of infidelity. He said, getting straight to the point. No small talk, no condolences. I appreciated that. I don't suspect, I said, pulling out the invitation. I know. His expression didn't change as he examined it, but I saw his eyebrows rise slightly. This is unusual. May I ask how you came to receive this? It came in the mail this morning. No return address, just this and a note saying I'd been living a lie for 3 years. Do you have the envelope? I produced it from my briefcase. He studied the postmark. Mailed from the city 2 days ago. The handwriting on the address, is it familiar? I shook my head. No, it's not Sarah's. Too masculine, and she types everything anyway. What about him, Alexander Hartley? I've never met him. I didn't even know he existed until 2 hours ago. Brennan leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled. Mr. Chen, I've been doing this for 15 years. I've seen every kind of affair imaginable, but I've never seen anything quite like this. Someone wanted you to know, and they wanted you to know, in the most dramatic way possible. So what do I do? Nah, that depends on what you want. Do you want to save your marriage? End it. Get evidence for a divorce revenge. What did I want? 2 hours ago, I'd wanted to land the Richardson account and take Sarah to Maui for our anniversary. Now, I want to know everything, I said. How long it's really been going on, how they met, how many of our friends know, whether she ever loved me at all, and I want to know who sent this invitation. Brennan nodded, making notes on a legal pad. I'll need some information. Your wife's full name, date of birth, employer, regular schedule, gym, favorite restaurants, friends she mentions frequently. For the next hour, I laid out the bones of our life together. It was surreal, reducing 12 years to a series of facts and routines. Sarah Chen née Williams, born March 15, 1985. Senior Marketing Director at Preston & Associates. Left for work at 7:30, home by 6, unless she had client dinners. Pilates on Tuesdays and Thursdays at Elite Fitness. Book club first Wednesday of the month, except it had become every Wednesday lately. Best friend Monica Walsh, who I now realized had been covering for her. What about your finances? Brennan asked. Any unusual purchases, withdrawals, new accounts? I don't know. Sarah handles most of that. Said she was better with money. He made another note. I could guess what it said. Naive husband. I'll need account numbers, passwords if you have them. We'll do a full financial review. Affairs are expensive, Mr. Chen. Hotels, dinners, gifts. The money always tells a story. What about him, Alexander Hartley? I'll run a complete background check. By tomorrow, I'll know everything from his shoe size to his third-grade teacher's name. He paused. Are you prepared for what I might find? What do you mean? I mean, this might not be her first affair, or his. I might find things about your wife that change how you see your entire marriage. Once you know something, you can't unknow it. I thought about Sarah this morning, efficiently cleaning up my broken coffee mug, kissing my cheek goodbye like it was any other day. 3 years of deception wrapped in mundane domesticity. I'm already living a lie, I said. At least knowing the truth gives me a choice. Brennan nodded. All right, I'll put my best team on this. Sanders and Martinez, they're discreet and thorough. We'll have preliminary findings within 48 hours. Full report within a week. What about the invitation? Can you trace who sent it? We'll try. The handwriting analysis might help, and we can check the invitation printer. These are custom expensive. Someone had to order them. He studied the invitation again. The real question is why reveal it this way? A friend would have just told you. An enemy would have been crueler. This feels calculated. As I left his office, my phone buzzed. Sarah again. Thinking about Thai food for dinner tomorrow. That place you like. The normalcy of it made my stomach turn. How many texts like this had she sent while planning a life with another man? Sounds good, I replied. Because what else could I do? Until I knew more, I had to play along. The street outside was bustling with lunch traffic. Men and women in business suits all hurrying somewhere important. I wondered how many of them were living lies too. How many were sending loving texts to spouses while meeting lovers for lunch. My phone rang. Stella from the office. Marcus Richardson's people are not happy. They're threatening to go with Morrison Consulting if we can't meet today. Richardson Industries. The contract I'd worked 2 years to secure, 6 figures guaranteed. Enough to finally relax about money, to take Sarah on that European trip she'd always wanted. Except Sarah didn't want to go to Europe with me. She wanted to go to Bali with Alexander Hartley. Tell them I'll be there at 3, I said. Are you sure you're okay? You sound... I'm fine, Stella. Just handle it. I had 2 hours to somehow transform myself from a man whose world had just imploded into a confident consultant, ready to win the biggest contract of his career. 2 hours to pretend everything was normal. My reflection in a storefront window showed a man in an expensive suit who looked like he had his life together. The illusion we all maintain. I thought about calling my brother in Seattle or my best friend James. But what would I say? Hey, funny story, my wife is marrying another man? Instead, I walked. Through the financial district, past the Embarcadero, all the way to the ferry building. Sarah and I had our first official date here, sharing oysters and champagne while watching the sunset. She'd worn a yellow sundress and laughed at all my nervous jokes. When had she stopped laughing at my jokes? My phone buzzed. An email from Brennan. Initial search results. Alexander Hartley, 47, CEO of Hartley Venture Capital. Net worth estimated at $75 million. Divorced, 2018. One daughter, 22, lives in New York. Residence, Pacific Heights. Member of Olympic Club St. Francis Yacht Club. No criminal record. We'll have more soon. $50 million. No wonder she was trading up. I sat on a bench watching tourists sample artisanal cheese and organic produce. A couple passed by, holding hands, the woman wearing an engagement ring so large it caught the light like a small sun. The man looked at her like she was his entire world. I used to look at Sarah that way. When had I stopped, or had she stopped seeing it first? Excuse me, a voice said. You dropped this. I looked up. A woman in running gear held out a folded piece of paper. Young blonde, the kind of healthy California beautiful that belonged in yogurt commercials. That's not mine, and I said. It fell out of your pocket when you sat down. She pressed it into my hand and jogged away before I could protest. I unfolded the paper. A single line in the same handwriting as the invitation address. Café Zoetrope, tomorrow, 2 p.m., come alone. My mysterious friend wanted to meet. I looked around, but the jogger had vanished into the crowd. Had she been the one who sent the invitation, or just a messenger? My phone alarm chimed. 2:30. Time to go pretend I cared about Richardson Industries and their expansion plans. As I stood to leave, I made a decision. Tomorrow at 2 p.m., I'd be at Café Zoetrope. But first I had a marriage to pretend to save and a business to pretend to care about. The art of deception I was learning wasn't limited to unfaithful spouses. We all wore masks. The only question was, which ones would we choose to remove? Saturn, Chapter 3, The Performance. The Richardson Industries presentation was a disaster. Not in any way the clients would notice I'd been doing this too long to let personal catastrophe affect my professional demeanor. I hit every talking point, answered every question, projected confidence and competence. But inside my mind kept drifting to that photo on Sarah's iPad. Her genuine smile. The way she leaned into Alexander Hartley like she belonged there. Mr. Chen, David Richardson's voice pulled me back. The implementation timeline, 6 months for full integration. I heard myself say the practice words flowing automatically. With benchmarks at 30, 60, and 90 days. They seemed satisfied. We shook hands, made promises to follow up, scheduled another meeting. I'd probably won the contract. Stella would be thrilled. 2 days ago, I would have been too. Now it felt like winning a prize in someone else's life. The drive home was torture. Every love song on the radio felt like mockery. I finally turned it off, driving in silence, through streets that suddenly seemed foreign. How many times had Sarah driven these same streets on her way to him? I pulled into our driveway at 5:47. Her car wasn't there, book club, allegedly. The house felt different now, like a stage set for a play I no longer wanted to perform in. Everything was exactly as we'd left it this morning, but nothing would ever be the same. In the kitchen, the broken mug had been replaced. A note on the counter in Sarah's handwriting, bought you a new mug. Try not to break this one. The casual intimacy of it made me want to scream. Instead, I poured myself a scotch, the good stuff we saved for special occasions, and sat in my office staring at the investigation notes I'd started. My phone rang. James. Marcus, tell me you closed Richardson. Think so, I said, trying to inject enthusiasm into my voice. Think so, dude? This is huge. We should celebrate. Beers at Murphy's. Any other night, I would have jumped at the chance. James had been my best friend since college, my best man at the wedding. He'd probably known Sarah longer than anyone except James, I said suddenly. You introduced us at your barbecue. Yeah, 12, 13 years ago. Why are you? Who else was there? Do you remember? A pause. Let's see. Me, obviously. Katie, your brother was in town. Monica brought Sarah, and that guy Tom from my office. Why are you asking about this? Just feeling nostalgic. Who else? I don't know, man. Maybe 20 people? Are you okay? You sound weird. Was Alexander Hartley there? Had he been watching from the beginning, waiting for his chance? I'm fine, I lied. Just tired. Rain check on beers? Sure, but we're celebrating this weekend. No excuses. After I hung up, I pulled out our photo albums. Sarah had meticulously organized them by year, each major event carefully documented. Our wedding, honeymoon in Costa Rica, first house, vacations, anniversaries, dinner parties. I studied each photo like evidence. When had her smile become performance? When had we stopped touching casually unconsciously? In the photos from 3 years ago, a trip to Napa for our anniversary, we stood slightly apart, smiling at the camera instead of each other. Patient zero, the beginning of the end. The front door opened. Mark, you home. Sarah's voice bright and cheerful. Book club must have been riveting. In the office, I called back. She appeared in the doorway, still in her work dress, but with her hair down, now softer. How'd Richardson go? Good, I think we got it. Mark, that's amazing. She crossed the room and hugged me, her perfume unfamiliar. When had she changed perfumes? We should celebrate. Maybe this weekend, I said, not pulling away, but not holding her either. She stepped back, studying me. You're still being weird. Are you sure you're okay? For a moment, I wanted to confront her, to slam the invitation on the desk and demand answers. But Brennan's words echoed. Information is power. Don't show your hand until you know what game you're playing. Just stressed, I said. Big day. She nodded, but I could see the calculation in her eyes. Was she wondering if I knew or just cataloging another sign that her husband was becoming distant, justifying what she was already doing? I'll start dinner, she said. That Thai place was closed, so I got Italian from Marcello's. Your favorite chicken marsala. My favorite. She still knew my favorite, unless that was performance too. Dinner was excruciating. We sat at our dining room table, the one we'd bought at an estate sale our first year of marriage, and made small talk. She told me about her day meetings, difficult clients, a new project. All of it could have been true, or none of it. Monica says hi, by the way, she added, twirling her pasta. She wants to do couples dinner soon. Monica, her best friend and apparent accomplice. How many lies had she told to cover for Sarah? Sure, I said. Sounds fun. You're barely eating. I looked down at my untouched plate. Big lunch with the Richardson people. She reached across the table and touched my hand. Her wedding ring caught the light. I'm proud of you, you know. You worked so hard for this. The sincerity in her voice was perfect. If I hadn't seen those emails, I would have believed every word. Thanks, I managed. After dinner, she suggested we watch a movie. We settled on the couch, her head on my shoulder, just like thousands of nights before. But now I noticed things. How she kept checking her phone. The way she tensed when it buzzed. How she angled the screen away from me when she replied. Who's that? I asked casually. Just Monica. Finalizing plans for Saturday. Saturday. What lie would Saturday require? Halfway through the movie, she yawned elaborately. I'm exhausted. Think I'll head up. It was 9:15. She never went to bed before 11. I'll be up in a bit, I said. She kissed my forehead. When had we stopped kissing properly and headed upstairs? I waited 15 minutes, then followed. She was in the bathroom door, closed, water running. Her phone was on the nightstand. I shouldn't. It was wrong. But then again, everything about this was wrong. I picked up her phone. The passcode was our anniversary, except it wasn't. Of course, she'd changed it. I tried the new date, 0815. It opened. A text conversation was open. AH. Miss you already. Sarah, me too. He's acting strange. You think he knows? Sarah and him just work stress. The Richardson thing. 3 more months, baby. Then no more sneaking around. Sarah can't wait. Love you. I just love you more. Sweet dreams, future Mrs. Hartley. I set the phone down exactly as I'd found it, my hands surprisingly steady. Future Mrs. Hartley. She was already erasing me, replacing my name with his. The bathroom door opened. Sarah emerged in her silk pajamas, face clean of makeup, looking younger, vulnerable. Coming to bed, she asked. I nodded, following her into our bedroom. We climbed into our respective sides of the king-size bed. When had we started needing so much space between us? And she turned off her light. Night, Mark. Good night. In the darkness, I stared at the ceiling, acutely aware of every breath, every movement. My wife of 12 years lay 2 feet away, already living in a future that didn't include me. Her breathing evened out within minutes. asleep or pretending to be. I thought about the meeting tomorrow. Cafe Zoetrope, 2 p.m. Someone wanted to tell me something, show me something. But what more could there be? I already knew the worst. Or did I? Sleep, when it finally came, was filled with dreams of invitations I couldn't read, and wedding guests whose faces I couldn't see all of them, laughing at a joke I didn't understand. Asha in Chapter 4, The Revelation. I arrived at Cafe Zoetrope at 1:45, 15 minutes early. The North Beach institution was bustling with its usual mix of tourists and locals, the walls covered with Coppola memorabilia and faded movie posters. I chose a corner table with clear sightlines to the entrance and ordered a coffee I didn't want. Every person who walked in could have been my mysterious contact. The businessman checking his watch, the woman with the oversized sunglasses, the college kid with the laptop. I found myself studying hands, looking for the distinctive handwriting from the invitation. At exactly 2 p.m. she walked in. Monica Walsh, Sarah's best friend since college, maid of honor at our wedding. She spotted me immediately, her face a mixture of determination and something that looked like guilt. She'd lost weight since I'd last seen her, and her usually perfect blonde hair was pulled back in a messy bun. Hello, Marcus, she said, sitting across from me without waiting for an invitation. You sent the wedding invitation. It wasn't a question. Everything clicked into place, the handwriting too masculine because she'd deliberately altered it, the knowledge of intimate details, the timing. I did, she signaled the waiter ordered a wine despite the early hour. You needed to know. How long have you known? She laughed, but there was no humor in it. How long, Marcus? I introduced them. The words hit like a physical blow. What? 3.5 years ago. Preston and Associates holiday party. Sarah couldn't get you to come. I had that conference in Chicago. Right, the conference. She took a long sip of wine when it arrived. Alex was there as a potential investor. He asked me who the beautiful woman was, and I introduced them. If I'd known. But you did know, eventually, and you covered for her. What was I supposed to do? Her voice cracked. She's my best friend. She was so unhappy, and then suddenly she wasn't. She was alive again. You have to understand, Marcus. I don't have to understand anything. My voice was harder than I'd intended. You helped her lie to me for years. Monica's perfectly manicured nails drummed against the table. You want to know the truth, fine, but you're not going to like it. I already don't like it. Sarah was going to leave you 3 years ago, right after she met Alex. She had the papers drawn up, found an apartment, everything. But then what? Your father got sick. The coffee cup froze halfway to my lips. My father's cancer. She couldn't do it. Couldn't leave you while you were dealing with that. So she stayed, and the affair started. Just until you were through the worst of it, she said. Then Dad went into remission, but your business was struggling. Then he got sick again. Then he died. There was always some reason she couldn't leave. I thought about that horrible year. Dad's diagnosis, the treatments, the false hope of remission, the final decline. Sarah by my side through all of it, holding my hand at the funeral, catching me when I broke down in the hospital parking lot, all while planning a life with someone else. So she's what, some kind of saint for not divorcing me while my father was dying. I'm not defending her, Monica said quickly. I'm just telling you what happened. What's been happening? And the wedding. She's just going to marry him without divorcing me first. Monica's face went pale. You don't know. Know what? She pulled out her phone, scrolled through it, then slid it across the table. An email was open. From Sarah Chen to Monica Walsh. Subject, re-divorce lawyer. Those met with Davidson yesterday. He says if I file in Nevada, it can be done in 6 weeks. Mark won't even need to appear. I'll ask for nothing, no alimony, no property split. Clean break. I already moved half my stuff to Alex's. The rest I'll get when Mark's in Portland next month. I know you think I should tell him face to face, but I can't. I've heard him enough. This way is cleaner. He'll get the papers, I'll be gone, and he can move on. And please don't hate me for this. So, Portland next month, I said numbly. The sustainability conference. She was going to be gone when you got back. Papers on the kitchen counter, wedding ring on top of them. Her lawyer said it was better, less emotional confrontation. When was this email sent? Monica took her phone back, checked the date. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks. 2 weeks of her kissing me goodbye every morning, asking about my day every night, planning our anniversary trip to Hawaii. 2 weeks of pretending while orchestrating her disappearance. Why tell me now? I asked. Why the invitation? Monica signaled for another wine. Because I've been watching her live for 3 years. And I've been helping her, and I can't anymore. Because you're a good man, Marcus, and you deserve better than coming home to an empty house and divorce papers. Because, she paused, took a shaky breath. Because I've been in love with my best friend's husband for 12 years, and I couldn't watch her throw you away anymore. The confession hung between us like a live wire. Monica's face was flushed, but she met my eyes steadily. Monica, I'm not telling you because I expect anything. God, I'm not that delusional. I watched her have everything I wanted and treat it like it was nothing. Do you know she complains about you to me? Says you're boring.